there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, today we're talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. Today we are talking because Martell called a blogger, apparently, to quote-unquote tell his side, and although the blogger is saying that they didn't tell them to take down their video in which they were reading the legal documents, even though technically they didn't read everything because they got too upset to continue because of the sensitive nature of everything. Nonetheless, Martell, quote-unquote, told his side, and next thing you know, I guess the video's gone or whatever, right? Now, for me, if this was so, upsetting and everything in the first place, this wouldn't have been read from the jump. But anybody who's saying that they're unbiased or that they like to, be fair to everybody and all these things, the problem is when situations like this that happen, and you're convinced enough, regardless if they told you to do X, Y, and Z or not, but you're convinced enough basically to do something that benefits them, that works in their favor, that quiets the noise, it shows a side by default, you guys. It shows what side of the fence you're on by default. And this is another example, you guys. Black women are not protected. They're simply not. And this is another example of this. It's funny because previously the narrative was supposed to be that, you're taking down Mel, you're taking down Mel's supporters, you're taking down the millimeters. You were the ones that were referencing these legal documents. You were the ones for the past couple of weeks saying this season Melody Cherie Rogers is going to be exposed and put on Front Street, and you're going to see the real Mel. You guys were the ones that kept saying that the kids were lying about any type of ABUSE. You guys were the ones that kept putting out there that the paternity of Sugar Mama was in question, and alleging that there was a paternity test. But then you said, "Oh, well, we're not going to say what's in the paternity test or what the results are because that's not our business." But you put out the other stuff that was slander and defaming. So it's okay for people to be on the mute challenge for that these past couple of weeks, not come out and defend Mel, not say anything. But the moment Martell can contact somebody, the moment it's against Martell, now all of a sudden there's this gathering that we've got to protect Martell. We've got to make sure that his truth is told. We have to make sure that Melody Cherie Rogers just can't get away with X, Y, and Z, even though Melody Cherie Rogers herself has not said or done anything, you guys. She is the one who wanted these documents to be sealed. But it was people with larger platforms that were allowed to say that Melody Cherie Rogers was with all these guys with no proof. There were people with larger platforms who were allowed to say for the past couple of weeks that Sugar Mama wasn't Martell's, and putting that out there and telling people there was a paternity test and they can't talk about it yet because it depends on whether or not it comes out on the show. And that the kids were lying, the kids were setting Martell up, they were being coached by Mel to say all these things when that's not even how the allegations came about. It was okay for the past couple of weeks since this trailer dropped for that narrative to be pushed. So in response, people were saying, no, the kids were not lying. Here's the legal proof. But now because you don't like the reaction, now all of a sudden it's damage control for Martell Holt. And I can't subscribe to that, you guys. You wanted the legal documents out there because you thought it was going to paint Melody Cherie Rogers in a bad light. You didn't like that people read the legal documents for what it was. And it confirmed things that you even admitted yourself in the Tasha K interview and other interviews and other Instagram lives you've done in the past. But now all of a sudden, you need to tell your side of the story. You can't have it both ways. You can't leak these things to people, and then if it's not favorable to you, now go on this whole, tangent. That you know, I have to tell my side. My side's not being reported. I'm being maligned because I'm a black man. No. That's not what this is, you guys. We have to be transparent. Now, we're not going to bash anybody. We're not going to bully anybody or attack anybody, right? People can, you know, do what they want on their channels. That's not what this is about. What this is about is on my platform, I like the truth. And I like to point out the hypocrisy. And especially in the case of Martell. How quickly it is okay for people who, you know, have 1 million subscribers, have X amount of subscribers, that can just allow Martell to say and do anything without consequence. But yet, you are the same person that wanted these legal documents out there. You are the same person that wanted people to read and report on these documents, except for you were not anticipating the backlash to be against you. You only wanted the legal documents read in the event it made Melody Cherie Rogers look bad. But since that didn't happen, now it's an issue. Now everything is fake. Now your side of the story needs to be told. Now Mel didn't win anything in court, even though this case is still ongoing. And then you do a live basically saying, oh, because I'm here with my kids, that means that these, you know, claims were unfounded. No. There's court dates that keep getting postponed because you refuse to follow what the orders are and get a psych eval. Make it make sense. But you have all of this time, you know, to tell what everybody else is allowed and not allowed to do. Mel's not allowed to post kids on social media, but apparently you are. And you're allowed to acknowledge their presence in the background. That's okay. But Mel is banned, right? But if we're going to keep it a buck, can you be honest for once that you are not innocent in any of this? And secondly, none of us wanted to read or review or summarize any of the details that are taking place regarding this case, regarding the sensitive nature of these minor children, you guys. None of us wanted to talk about it. But the problem is, ever since this trailer has dropped, there have been specific people who are completely defaming, slandering, and maligning Melody Cherie to be a monster. And making all these false accusations for the simple fact that they don't like her. And they were the ones that originally was like, they had the legal documents to prove that Melody Cherie Rogers was X, Y, and Z. So people pulled the receipts and was like, okay, are you talking about these same legal documents that you know, point to Melody Cherie Rogers being the monster that you claim she is? This manipulator that you claim that she is? This person who is calling all the shots, apparently, that you claim that this is? That's why this happened. And this is why, you know, it is so important, you guys, regarding these shows. Listen, there's people who are going to report only on the episodes. There's people who are going to report both on the episodes and what's going on behind the scenes. And then there's people who just flat out don't watch the show or watch the show periodically. But when the opportunity presents itself or they get contacted by somebody to discuss the show, but only discuss it in a biased format, in which you're trying to specifically combat support that you know, cast member on the show is getting, and because you have a larger platform, it's okay for you to say whatever you want and allow people to believe it, and accuse people of being bullies, accuse people of making fun of disabled people, accuse people of sending threats to people, accusing people of having secret meetings, accusing people of getting paid by Melody Cherie Rogers, like just putting out all of these false narratives and continuing to push the narrative that Sugar Mama is not Martell's daughter. So why didn't Martell contact that blogger or bloggers that are putting that out there, that are alleging today this past week, the past couple of weeks since the trailer has been released, that Sugar Mama is not Martell's, saying that Marceau exposed it in the trailer, that this season is going to be the season, the downfall of Melody Cherie, that a paternity test was done, but they're keeping it quiet or whatever, the results. This was all of the narratives that the people who support Martell were putting out there. And not one person, you know, outside of the people who report the facts and or support Melody Cherie Rogers and or, you know, identify themselves to be millimeters, those were the only people that decided to do content and say, listen, this is not true. So which is it? Because if we want to stand on, you know, being and having a, you know, integrity and having honesty and all these things, people shouldn't be bullied into only reporting what you want them to report on. That's not how this should work. Everybody should be able to have freedom of speech on their platform, but the problem is there are people who either want to use their platform to spread fake news and conspiracy theories for the simple fact they don't like somebody, or allow themselves, basically, you know, if you're cool with X, Y, and Z behind the scenes or whatever, then it's okay for you know, you to show that camaraderie, but it's at the expense of somebody else continuing to get dragged. Not once has Melody Cherie Rogers contacted anybody who has been putting out and reading these legal documents. Not once is Melody Cherie calling any bloggers behind the scenes saying, listen, we need to talk about X, Y, and Z on your platform. No. Everything Melody Cherie has been posting has been promoting the event she has coming up here in May. How she's going to be performing at a festival, as well as, you know, through her sorority. There's a brown skin girl type of an event with her via her sorority that is also coming up, and I believe something for Mother's Day as well. But not once since all of these false accusations have been coming out and the slanderous claims against Mel have been coming out specifically about her youngest child, not once has anybody, like I said, outside of people who report the facts, outside of people who know what's going on, outside of people who are Mel fans, outside of people who identify themselves as millimeters, those were the only people that said, you know what, I'm going to put out the truth. I don't want to put out the sensitive nature of this truth because it involves minor children, but you're literally opening the gates by putting out any accusations you want about the same minor children and accusing the children of being a liar about any alleged ABUSC against their father. So that is why people did videos and provided content and read verbatim what it said on those legal documents of what the claims were and what the counterclaims were. But again, it's certain talking points that people are having to try to convince you that this custody battle is over, to try to convince you, oh, this was just a one-time deal that was, you know, filed in 2022 or 2023, and therefore all of it's done now because you can hear my kids in the background on an Instagram live. Which technically we don't know if the order revealed for, you know, you to still only see the kids during the day. And they're not allowed to have any overnights with you. We don't know, right? We only know the narrative that you want to put out there for the people anytime you feel your name is being maligned. But you never want to own or take any accountability for any of the things that you've done, any of the ways that you continue to talk about your ex-wife, even though it also says in the same legal documents not to say anything disparaging about the other parent. And it was Melody Cherie Rogers who wanted these records sealed due to the sensitive nature of what was in them. But some of you didn't care about that because you thought there was an opportunity to make Melody Cherie Rogers look bad. You thought it was an opportunity to quote unquote expose Melody Cherie Rogers, just like you thought the trailer was going to do, and when it had the opposite reaction, just like the trailer did, now all of a sudden, everybody now is claiming all these things. Oh, well, you know, that's not what this is, and Martell's innocent, and X, Y, and Z. No, it doesn't work like that, you guys. We have to be transparent here as people. At the end of the day, ABUSC of any form, of any kind is wrong. It should not be diminished in any capacity. If anybody is receiving any threats, if anybody's being spoken to out of pocket, if anybody's receiving any type of physical abuse. And again, if nothing happened, why was there an investigation? Why was Martell away from his kids for nearly 60 days? And if nothing happened, why did multiple entities, besides the kids, report that there was something wrong with the treatment of these children? And why was it when these kids requested to go to the ER, go to the doctors, to get themselves checked out after all of the threats and things that were happening, you didn't do that? You told them no. But now all of a sudden, the people who are reading these details of these court documents, now all of a sudden it's a problem. Because you were expecting people to read these same court documents and use it to drag your ex-wife. And when that didn't happen, now it's an issue. And now 24 hours or less, you know, you target certain people to say, hey, no, this isn't what it seems, this isn't what it's like, and blah, 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 blah. And I know for a fact that Martell definitely was coached on what to say and how to present it and all of the things, right? Because you literally were just cursing on your Instagram Live, right? So again, I'm just tired, you guys. It's just very exhausting. People, you know, it's okay for you to slander and defame your ex-wife, but then when people, and you wanted these documents out there because literally, like I said, the signal was out there about the paternity of Sugar Mama. And literally the message was out there that your kids were lying about any form of ABUSC. Even though you yourself have admitted in interviews, you yourself have admitted in lives that you like to use corporal punishment on your kids. You like to show that you are authoritative against your kids. And you were the one that said that the kids can be back on the show in the event that you can show this corporal punishment on national TV. That came out of your mouth, in addition to what's in the court documents. So what is it, Martell, that's not, quote, your side of the story? The problem is the truth of what is happening in these legal documents are being revealed. And since it's not the truth that you wanted out there, or it's not the truth that you wanted people to interpret that way, now it's a problem. But if people interpreted the legal documents the way you wanted them to be, the way you intended them to be, then it's a different conversation. Then all of a sudden, you feel like you've won the battle. That you've won the PR game against your ex-wife. That's not how this works, you guys. There has to be a point where people say, you know what? I have integrity. I'm going to stand on my morals and my values. I understand X, Y, and Z. This is a sensitive topic. I understand the sensitive nature of this. But again, we have to tell factual information. And why were people silent when the narrative was put out there for these past couple of weeks that the kids were lying about these documents? That the kids were lying about the accusations that were in these documents? Why was that okay? Martell didn't call any of them. Martell didn't call anybody when the accusation was still put out there that Sugar Mama was not his. No, Martell didn't call any of the bloggers that were putting that out there. Martell didn't call any of the bloggers who said that there was a paternity test done, allegedly. And again, all of this was zero receipts. They kept saying, oh, you look up the court documents for yourself. You download the court documents for yourself. Well, some people did. And none of that was in there. And so now you don't like the reaction. And you want to continue this age-old image that has been presented to us, that you want to portray, even though you said the show is acting and full of actors, you still want to go in with this narrative heading into the premiere of the show that you're not who everybody thinks you are. But yet it seems to be you're the one that keeps suffering the consequences due to these allegations, which would indicate there's truth to them. Because if none of this wasn't true, why is it anytime you don't like something being said about yourself, you go on the defense, you do an Instagram live, you contact bloggers behind the scenes and try to quote unquote tell your side to try to push a certain narrative? It's not okay, you guys. But this thing where people are going to be bullied into silence or bullied into not telling the truth, I can't rock with that, you guys. I can't. Like, there is no selling of my soul, you guys. There's not. There's nobody that's paying me. There's nobody who's telling me what to say or do on my platform. There's nobody calling me saying, Anonymous T, we only want you to talk about this as it pertains to love and marriage, Huntsville. No. That's not what's happening here, you guys. And that's your prerogative if that's how you want to move, right? But I'm not moving like that here. But it just really upsets me how easy it is for Martell to get away with anything and everything with a simple phone call from either him or the people that support him. And all of a sudden, all of it's wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be doing that. But where were you guys the last couple of weeks when Mel was being attacked and called every single name but her government name? And people trying to calling her Melody Holt and trying to say that this is a game and that we would be shocked and trying to allege that Mel and Martell are secretly together after all of this foolery. You didn't want to call it and tell anybody that wasn't true. So again, you guys, I'm going to continue to keep it a buck here. I'm going to continue to report what the facts are. And in the event if something else changes or what have you, and there's something that we need to, retract, or if there's valid receipts to prove, okay, this deserves a retraction, that's one thing, you guys. But up until this point, there has been no receipts to invalidate anything that was in those legal documents. Now, people try to give you guys a summary of what's taken place, because due to the extensive and sensitive nature of everything, they wanted to try to give you guys a summary of what has happened. But it's not just, coming out of anywhere. And it's not a situation where nothing was unfounded. And this isn't a situation where this is all Melody Cherie Rogers' fault. When these claims directly came from the kids, from the school, from multiple places. But nobody wants to talk about that because if you're a fan of Martell or if you're good with Martell, you have to now all of a sudden that can't be Martell. The Martell I know is a good guy. But this is why, you guys, people are afraid to speak up and speak out and tell their story. Because where have people been? Like I said, in particular these past couple of weeks, but really since season 1, episode 1. When people were putting out those false narratives about Mel, the people who didn't like Mel to begin with, whether it was via the trailer or via the false accusations that have been put out there by her the past couple of weeks about her, some of you were like, oh, this validates the reason I don't like Mel. Oh, this validates, I knew there was a reason I didn't like her, blah, 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 blah. And not once did you ever fact check or validate that information. You just went with wherever the wind blew. And if somebody supported your views, regardless if it was true or false, but if they supported the fact that you didn't like Mel, it was okay whatever people said. That's not how this works, you guys. We have to be honest here about what it is. And there's still an active court case that is taking place. So there isn't this situation where anybody has won anything. But there have been measures and things taken in place as a result of these allegations. So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.